Reporter. May I ask what are the opinions of the members of your Xingxin team on your deputy captain Tang Yin? Yi Xiu. He told us with facts that even if we don't play with tactics, our hearts are dirty. And desperate luck Su Mucheng. Best teammate, fighter in the wing, and enviable luck. Wei Chen. In terms of not being offline, I would like to call him the strongest. And he definitely has an affair with the goddess of luck. Tang Yin. I am just a professional athlete who is influenced by luck. Era's new work. Full.time expert fan Era book friends group. 104-670-4633 Welcome everyone to play. Keywords of the novel. Full-time occupation of the European Emperor no pop-ups, full-time occupation of the European Emperor TXT complete collection download, full-time occupation of the European Emperor latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. First kill. You are listening at novel full.audio. Chapter 1 First kill. A man in a suit was walking home. His name was Tang Yin, and he had fair skin. He had a pair of dazzling black eyes that seemed to be able to see through the past and present. He smiled like a crescent moon, but it made people feel very friendly. A straight nose bridge, a rosy lips, and a gentle smile like a feather falling, sweet as sugar. The profile of the profile is as sharp as a knife, with sharp edges yet not lacking in softness. In terms of appearance, it is definitely a handsome guy with a score of around 90. Originally, it was describing Tang Yin who had awakened his blue-silver firearms at this time. That's right, he's a traveler. And his previous life was the kind of unlucky his mother opened the door for unlucky home. So you probably don't have many scenes, but you must have heard a passage from the first episode of Season 1 of Love Apartment. Some people are unlucky enough to eat xiaobing, baked cake and griddle, and beer cap, eat wonton and camphor balls, and beat flies on nails. I dropped my phone in the Emirate box and couldn't take it out when I went to Xingxin temple to burn incense. Then try smashing the wall to find the happy one. For his past life, these were all small things. Can you imagine a person who used the toilet, stuffed a toilet, bought a can without a pull tab, bought milk tea without a straw, ate watermelons with watermelon seeds, was always cut in line, and could never squeeze onto a bus? Tang Yin can also be very frustrated at times, even hearing someone experience similar things with him while watching the first season of Love Apartment. I still have a little emotional attachment in my heart. This made him also think about hitting a wall with a hammer of 80. Unfortunately, when he was about to smash the wall himself to make ends meet, it fell down and was his neighbor who smashed it. This is also the reason why Tang Yin traveled through time, but his own death was relatively ordinary. Because of my unlucky physique. He has almost no friends, and this is almost counting acquaintances. His parents left early, and he was placed in foster care at his uncle's house, who was also very kind to him. His parents left him over 1 million yuan in insurance money without any movement. But when Tang Yin was 18 years old, he returned it to him during the college entrance examination. As a result, just as his college life began, such a thing happened to him. At least the money I left can help uncle, was Tang Yin's last thought before his consciousness disappeared. Then he was happily reborn into the world of full-time experts, one by one 16-year-old boys who had just left the orphanage. Following the tradition of time travel, he was still called Tang Yin. As for why he knew this was the world of full-time experts, because his predecessor lived next to Xingxin Internet Cafe, opposite the Glory Mansion Jasher. And the next day, he discovered his cheat absolute luck, like now. Catch the thief. A female voice rang out in front of Tang Yin. A character who appears as a passerby for no more than 3 minutes in a TV drama. Running towards Tang Yin with a lady's bag in hand. What's going on? It's really troublesome, Tang Yin said, taking out a $1 coin from his pocket. Here's a number. Tang Yin said, flicking the coin with his thumb as it spun and bounced towards the sky. Then flipped to the ground, and after landing, the value was indeed above As the coin landed steadily, the thief somehow stepped on a banana peel. An unstable center of gravity. There was an intimate contact between the face and the nearby utility pole. The specific sound coming from his nose made him unconsciously sit backwards towards the bushes behind him. And in the position where he sat, there happened to be a tree trunk with only one bar left. You understand the mysteries of the wood leaf fluid technique. The intense pain made him suddenly stand up again, possibly because he stood up too quickly and his heart's blood supply capacity was limited. I felt dizzy and didn't stand firm. Because it is currently uphill and downhill, this thief has just experienced the 1,000-year kill of the wood done and cutting art version. This time it became the meat bullet tank of the autumn Taoist school. I saw the thief rolling all the way to Tang Yin's feet before stopping. Just as he was about to struggle to get up, the taxi next to him opened the door and hit him hard in the head. Direct stun. Let's congratulate the passenger who got off the car for winning the first kill in this article. However, although it was the first kill taken by the still confused passenger, Tang Yin picked up the explosive preparation. "Auntie, here's your bag." Tang Yin smiled and handed it to the aunt who ran over. "Thank you, young man, and you too." The aunt thanked Tang Yin and the passenger who was still in trouble. At this moment, the police who had seen the situation from afar also arrived, and Tang Yin did not pay attention to the subsequent matters. "Put away the coins and prepare to go home." That's right, this is one of Tang Yin's cheats, absolute luck. And another cheat is this exceptional physical talent for esports. Calculating the time, I have been in this world for 4 or 5 years. Tang Yin sat in front of the computer almost instinctively, inserting his account card. Looking at the account that has accompanied me for 4 years. In this lifetime, Tang Yin found himself extremely lucky. The building he currently lives in was the one he won in the lottery, and it was only then that he discovered his cheat. There are 7 professions inside, and 4 of them are job transfers for sharpshooters. There is also a swordsman, a battle mage, and the last ninja. It can be seen that Tang Yin is mainly proficient in the profession of sharpshooter. Speaking of which, should I go to Chenguo's place to find a job now? Today, the 10th district has opened its servers. I have been online friends with Yi Xiu and Su Mucheng for so many years, and it's time to meet them. This can be done. Thinking about it, since there's nothing happening now, Tang Yin put on his down jacket and walked towards the Xingxin internet cafe downstairs. It's afternoon now, but the sky has already darkened. According to the weather forecast, it will still snow tonight, so Tang Yin is fully armed when going out. Not long after, Tang Yin arrived at the entrance of Xingxin internet cafe, and as soon as he entered, he felt a warm sensation. Not to mention, the internet cafe environment is really good. The walls of Chenguo's Xingxin internet cafe are white. It looks very clean and tidy, and each computer is placed in place. Although there are many computers, they give people a feeling of spaciousness. Xingxin internet cafe has more than 1 floor, and there is also an independent soundproof room upstairs. Further up is the employee dormitory. Tang Yin, hi. Come and play with me. Give me your ID card and I'll open a machine for you. Just as Tang Yin lit up the internet cafe, Chenguo's voice rang from inside the counter. Because it is the birthplace of the main character group, Tang Yin came here every day to surf the internet for the first 2 years when he first came to this world. One day, he fell ill and didn't want to go downstairs, so he bought a computer at home. But I still come here to play every now and then. Everyone who came and went has also become friends. Tang Yin didn't go to the private room upstairs, but played downstairs. Coupled with his good skills, he often plays an orange weapon every once in a while. It can also be considered somewhat famous here. If Tang Yin insists on bringing any butterfly effect, it is that Chenguo's character is now dressed in orange martial arts. They were all given by Tang Yin as a birthday gift on Chenguo's birthday. At first, Chenguo didn't want it, after all, the market price of top orange martial arts is tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. She really doesn't dare to accept it. But when Tang Yin showed her all kinds of repetitive orange weapons in his warehouse, she didn't know how to speak for a moment. Era's new work requires everyone's support. Era is rolling on the ground, seeking big recommendation tickets from everyone. The new book really needs everyone's love and care. End of this chapter. Chapter 2, Is That Why You Fooled His Sister? Request for tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2, Is That Why You Fooled His Sister? Request for tickets. By the way, your sister hasn't come back yet. Chen Guo took Tang Yin's ID card and joked at the end. No. Can we let this meme go? It's been a long time ago, Tang Yin said helplessly, covering her face. This matter will start from Tang Yin's first lottery win, because he discovered that this is a world of full-time experts. Tang Yin confirmed his funds and came here to charge for internet fees. But Chen Guo mercilessly refused. After all, Tang Yin was not 18 years old. However, because Tang Yin was an orphan and had nowhere to go at night, Chen Guo gave Tang Yin a spot at the cashier to rest for the night and return to the orphanage tomorrow. And she used the cash register computer to play honor directly. After all, she came to the world of full-time experts. If she didn't play honor for a while, do you mean to say she was a time traveler? This is to go to Huiying not to have a taste of lammy and noodles, and to the Pirate King not to go to the sea restaurant Buladi. Go to the neighboring Dolua and don't try Tang San's brand of poison. And because it's cute, I chose a gunman skill that can be remotely output as the main skill. 5 orange weapons exploded in a row overnight, which directly made Tang Yin doubt whether there was a problem with the game's settings. Is the agreed orange 5 very rare? Because they are all wild teams, everyone is human. Then these orange warriors entered Tang Yin's pocket, possibly due to the will of the universe. When Tang Yin was playing. Coincidentally, the 6th district of Tang Yin Jin is a newly opened district. Although Orange Wu's level is relatively low, various guilds still found Tang Yin and planned to trade with him. Coincidentally, Tang Yin was also short of money at that time, so he sold these 5 low-level orange weapons to the most imposing Blue Rain team at that time for only a few thousand yuan. This made Tang Yin, who finally realized that he might have started his fortune, very happy. Turn around and go through a lottery store when going out, and draw the next day. Thoroughly convinced him of his cheating, that's right. Tang Yin won 3 million yuan just by making a random purchase, which is reasonable. At that time, Tang Yin was so excited that he felt a bit at a loss. I want to find someone to analyze it, but this predecessor, who just emerged from an orphanage, doesn't have many friends. The only acquaintances are the newly acquainted Mrs. Xingxin and Tang Rou, who works for Chen Guo. So we invited everyone present at the internet cafe. The statement, "Tonight's expenses will be paid for by Tang Yin Gong," ignited the whole audience. Because they had a conversation before, Chen Guo and Tang Rou also knew that Tang Yin had no relatives. Perhaps it was because of their kindness, along with other personnel who were still working with Chen Guo at the time. Accompanied Tang Yin to celebrate together. However, a few people just ordered some barbecue or something to eat in the corner of the internet cafe, and as a result, everyone drank a bit too much while eating. Later, Tang Yin even cut off the pieces directly. The only thing I know is that he and Tang Rou inexplicably became sworn brothers and sisters. That's right, Tang Rou is 1 year older than Tang Yin. Afterwards, Chen Guo often made fun of Tang Yin about this matter, which made Tang Yin very frustrated. However, it was also after that day that Tang Yin did not return to the orphanage to live. After all, he had money and could fully support himself. By the way, Chen Guo, do you have any plans to expand the internet cafe? I can invest in it with funds, Tang Yin said. He decided he couldn't work here, otherwise he wouldn't be mocked to death by Chen Guo every day. It's better to be a shareholder or something. Don't tell me you won the lottery again, Chen Guo said, remembering something. Over the past few years, she has truly experienced the terror of the European emperor in her eyes. Tang Yin and some people standing at the top of the game are different. Others either recharge or find a studio, or use both together to achieve their own account attributes and equipment. And what about Tang Yin? He relies on European style. Can you imagine a person with a head-to-toe orange warrior, but without spending a penny? That's right, Chen Guo saw Tang Yin's game character wandering in the realm of gods, and then a group of people were watching the wealthy looking at Tang Yin, just getting stuck in their mouths. What else can she say? It can only be said that ignorant humans know nothing about European gas, and she witnessed Tang Yin winning this supernatural manifestation every time he drew a lottery for 3 consecutive years. And Tang Yin hasn't gone to the lottery yet this year, that's why she asked this question. You haven't gone yet. I went to my former orphanage to donate a few days ago. I just came back and haven't had time yet, Tang Yin said. Oh. The next plane is coming. Chen Guo had a gossipy expression on his face. Well, I guess so. Tang Yin thought about not staying at home for long, and it wouldn't be too much to say that he would just come by plane. Are you looking for Xiao Tang? Chen Guo said with a smiling expression on his aunt's face. Tang Yin. Cover your face, not at all. We're just normal friends, okay? You're not afraid of affecting Tang Rou? Tang Yin glanced at Chen Guo. Anyway, the matter of investing is not urgent, and it will be the same when we establish the Xingxin team in the future. So Tang Yin took the ID card handed over by Chen Guo and walked towards the smoke-free area where he often goes. To be honest, Tang Yin is actually very interested in Tang Rou. It even feels like love at first sight. But he also knows Tang Rou's background. She is the daughter of Tang Xingxin, the chairman of Tang Entrepreneurship Group Company, Limited, so Tang Yin is a bit hesitant. After all, he was very ordinary in his past life, but as I said before, his rebirth brought 2 cheats, one of which was absolute luck, with an absolute hand speed of over 800 and a matching reaction ability. This is also the reason why he works hard to practice his honor technique, and he wants to confess to her when he wins the championship in the 10th season. So for this goal, he doesn't allow any accidents, and the way to avoid all of this is to become stronger. Not to mention anything else, he can now use his sharpshooter to fight Yi Xiu 5 times. Of course, Yi Xiu did not use Autumn of One Leaf. But it's his other nickname, which should also be considered Tang Yin's butterfly effect. Their fate began with Yi Xiu's disciple Qiu Fei. That should be because Qiu Fei has just become a disciple of Yi Qiu, and I don't know why he was abusing vegetables in the arena that day. Then I was very lucky to meet Tang Yin. At that time, Tang Yin's strength was already very strong. Although there was still a slight gap before reaching the level of Yi Qiu, he was also a first-class professional player in the glory category. At that time, many teams invited Tang Yin, but he refused. In this situation, Tang Yin rebelled against Qiu Fei at that time. And his battle with Qiu Fei was noticed by Yi Xiu, who was teaching Qiu Fei. So Tang Yin was the first to experience what it means to be tired of the main force. He is a substitute. At the original 70 to 30% health, Yi Xiu had to die with him. Your sharpshooter looks very much like a friend of mine, Yi Xiu said. At that time, Tang Yin didn't even know that Yi Qiu was on the other side. After all, he had just reached his level at that time. Many of them are still unfamiliar, let alone guessing the identity of the other person just by playing a trick with them. So he replied, "Oh, really? So how is he now?" "Dead." Tang Yin. "I'm TM." Tang Yin wanted to go through the screen and beat the other person up. "Why do you think you're Yi Xiu, and you're playing with the plot of Umbrella Brother with me? So, that's why you fucked his sister?" Tang Yin said venomously. Yi Qiu. In today's second chapter, Era is rolling on the ground, asking for tickets and collecting them. The new book requires everyone's care. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Is just starting from scratch. Request for tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 is just starting from scratch. Request for tickets. While it's still early, Tang Yin opens the Honor official website. Prepare to review what beginners have learned. After all, he hasn't started a new role in a few years. The things for beginners are already late, and with various updates, he doesn't want to miss out on things or welfare tasks anymore. For example, those who give skill points. His divine domain was dominated by an accident. More than one task that can send skill books. Resulting in a slight difference from the theoretical full value. This makes Tang Yin very annoyed. So I plan to retrain a character, and coincidentally, the weapon he designed himself fell to level 5 due to experimental failure. I just started training a new character and they both went up together. Tang Yin looked at various information while also thinking about his silver weapon. Speaking of Tang Yin, this silver weapon was still inspired by the 1000 machine umbrella. After the battle with Yi Xiu, the two made an appointment to play games together. Sometimes Mucheng also plays together, and with Qiu Fei, the four of them often play together. Yi Xiu is truly a full-time textbook, and Tang Yin learned a lot of skills from Yi Xiu in various professions of sharpshooters. And they also saw what is called the European Emperor. Whenever Tang Yin is present, orange martial arts or rare materials must be produced. This almost supernatural situation made Yi Xiu and his team envious. And Tang Yin is also generous, as long as it is the materials that Yi Xiu and his team need, he will directly give them. And Yi Xiu, in order to thank Tang Yin, spent 3 days fighting to learn the skill effects and characteristics of all gunman professions at that time. And some usage techniques are combined with Mucheng and Qiu Fei to create another complete teaching video as a birthday gift for Tang Yin. To be reasonable, it can be said that Tang Yin needed it the most at that time. These materials can be said to have made up for what Tang Yin was most lacking at that time. And with this supplement to make up for Tang Yin's shortcomings, it wasn't long before he could compete with Yi Xiu. And now Tang Yin can be even more at odds with Yi Xiu. Even Yi Xiu wanted to invite Tang Yin to their Jiashi trial last year, but Tang Yin still refused. Finally, Tang Yin pretended very forcefully and said, there will be a chance to fight together, but not now. Later on, as everyone became more familiar with each other, Tang Yin would occasionally hear about Brother Umbrella from Sister Su. Even Tang Yin deliberately went to a district to build a small shop to see Umbrella Brothers' masterpiece, 1000 machine umbrella. I obtained the design drawings from Yi Xiu, and Tang Yin also learned the principle of the deformation of Qianji umbrella. For this reason, Tang Yin specifically studied the principles of constructing honor weapons. After a year of hard work, he completed his first silver martial illusion god double spear. Although it can only change within firearms, each gun can be embedded with a skill. And the 4 forms of honor firearms added 8 skills to Tang Yin's original profession. Time quietly passed in Tang Yin's strategy. Tang Yin leisurely walked out of the dumpling restaurant across from the internet cafe, stretched out comfortably before heading towards Xingxin internet cafe. Just as Tang Yin was about to push the door and enter, a hand appeared next to him. That hand is countless times more delicate than Tang Yin's hand. Both hands landed on the door at the same time, and after entering, Tang Yin turned to look at the person next to him. Coincidentally, the person also turned to look at Tang Yin. Looking at each other with 4 eyes. Oh my, brother, come online. Glory. I'm Sun Shangxiang sneaking away. Tang Yin smiled and said. I don't remember there were heroes from the 3 kingdoms in glory. The other party had a delicate face, but was a bit chubby and often stayed up late with local specialties. The god costume that internet-addicted teenagers wear is sickly white. I'm sorry, we crossed channels. From the 6th district, the account in the divine realm, Dream Awakening Wind, do you also play honor, brother? Do you have an account in the divine realm? Let's start blacklisting together. Tang Yin appeared familiar, but the other party was noticeably stunned when they heard this ID. Xiao Yin, the other party asked with some uncertainty. Do you know me, brother? Tang Yin was a little surprised. After all, there were only a few friends who called him Xiao Yin in the game. I didn't expect you to be here, I'm Yi Xiu. Yi Xiu also asked in surprise. After all, although they are netizens, they have never recorded a video. Yi Xiu didn't expect to meet his friends in the game just as he came out. Hey! Old Yi! So it's you, isn't it a noodle base for us? Come on, I'm very familiar with the boss here. It's my treat. Tang Yin said happily. After all, they are friends who have never had the chance to meet, even though they know they will meet today. But Tang Yin is still very happy. Tang Yin pulled Yi Xiu directly into the internet cafe before he could react. Xiao Chu, get on the plane. Tang Yin and Yi Xiu hooked up, and Yi Xiu smiled but didn't pay much attention. He was also quite happy to meet friends at this time. And even if he wants to resist, he doesn't have a chance. After all, Tang Yin, who exercises every day, is not comparable to Yi Xiu, who sits on the computer every day. Xiao Chu looked up and saw Tang Yin who had just left. He pulled a person in and took his ID card to register. He curiously asked, how come you bring someone with you after eating a meal? Isn't that your personality? Xiao Chu knew Tang Yin's personality, and besides internet cafe employees, the most familiar people were acquaintances. What are you talking about? I've been a netizen for several years and met you outside today, Yi Xiu. Tang Yin said dejectedly, speaking the same way he did when he went out. Xiao Chu didn't say much and looked at the unoccupied computer in the internet cafe, saying, number 47, Zone C. Tang Yin was a bit speechless for a moment, and he was also a time traveler. Shouldn't your butterfly effect be even smaller? He remembered there was a table next to him, and Chen Guo was still playing PK. Before going to eat, he even helped Chen Guo beat the other side in a game. But now Yi Xiu still goes to that one. I can now do silver martial arts on my own. Are you still playing with me like this in the universe? My ID card, is there any unused machine next to that machine? Tang Yin asked. Yes, number 46 in Zone C, this place is also deserted. He waved to Tang Yin to leave first, not to disturb his TV watching here. This is the treatment for acquaintances. Believe it or not, I'll report you to Sister Chen Guo, Tang Yin said helplessly. He didn't care, after all, everyone is so familiar. Tang Yin skillfully led Yi Xiu towards number 47 in Zone C and asked, how have you been lately? I haven't even seen your online game account go online. It's nothing, just retired. I'm going to take a year off and then go back, Yi Xiu said lightly. It seems to be talking about something very ordinary. Guess it, but you're really calm, Tang Yin said with some admiration. Upon hearing Tang Yin's words, Yi Xiu paused noticeably, as a young man with short orange hair stood with an umbrella. With a slight smile, he said, it's nothing, it's just starting from scratch. In today's final chapter, a new book urgently needs everyone's recommended tickets and collections. Thank you. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. 40 seconds, ticket request. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 40 seconds, ticket request. To be reasonable, Tang Yin was quite moved when he heard Yi Xiu's words, it was just starting from scratch. This sentence is not something that can be said so easily. The two of them chatted and walked along like this, and soon arrived at number 47 in Zone C. As expected by Tang Yin, Chen Guo was still fighting against that opponent, and his momentum remained so strong. To fully embody the violence of the profession of gunner. Seeing Chen Guo's body constantly swaying with the game perspective, accompanied by a high ponytail tied to the back of his head, he inexplicably gave a feeling of passion. Compared to Tang Yin's helplessness, Yi Xiu looked at Chen Guo's profile and saw her role as a gunner in the game. It seemed as if he had put Su Mucheng into it. This time, due to Tang Yin's interference, not only the figure appeared in his mind, but also her every frown and smile. This expression. You miss Mucheng. I'll just say you're not honest enough, right? Tang Yin smiled as he placed his hand on Yi Xiu's shoulder. What nonsense. She and I are just friends or family, Yi Xiu said with a pause. I know, above friends, lovers are not yet full. I fully understand your young thoughts, Tang Yin smiled. Yi Xiu. Didn't I just scold you once on the first day? As for holding grudges like this. I'm better than you, right? Yi Xiu said helplessly. Don't worry about these details, Tang Yin smiled. At this moment, Yi Xiu began to formally evaluate Chen Guo, and it must be said that in terms of appearance. Chen Guo is also a beautiful woman. Her hair is tied into a ponytail and hangs softly behind her back. Her small and fair face is adorned with a cheerful smile, and her facial features are exquisitely set. The long eyelashes flickered with youthful radiance, and the black crystal-like eyeballs skillfully rotated, bright like a pool of clear water. The sunlight poured down and melted into her eyes, swaying with a silver-like brilliance. Under the eyes is a small mouth, like a cherry placed on a cream cake. Plus, her domineering demeanor when playing as a gunner gives off a feeling of femininity. As a gunner, Su Mucheng gave Tang Yin two feelings. Well, how do you say it? It should be said that Su Mucheng is a very gentle person. She is so gentle that when you talk to her, she will care about you in all ways and mercilessly slay you into pieces. And it's the kind where even the ashes are raised. Playing against bosses is the same. Su Mucheng always feels that Tang Yin and Yi Xiu are too cruel, not giving the boss a gaming experience at all, but contributing the highest output of the entire team. This made Tang Yin sweat a bit for Yi Xiu's future life. You should know that Su Mucheng is different from Yi Xiu, who only plays games. As a true goddess of esports, she has never stopped doing fitness. With a very healthy lifestyle and dietary support, not to mention anything else, in terms of strength, Yi Xiu, who was suppressed by Mucheng, died. The murderous aura is too terrifying, but it's a pity. Yi Xiu saw the battle situation on the screen and knew that Chen Guo had lost. Sure enough, he saw the opponent flip over to Chen Guo's blind spot, and when she hurriedly turned her perspective, she was shot away by a close-range enemy swordsman. Then a set of phantom sword dance ended the battle. Damn it! Chen Guo was so depressed that he planned to smash the keyboard, and Tang Yin immediately stepped forward to stop him. Hey, gaming games. It's not that bad, Tang Yin comforted. Xiaoyin, you're back. Come and help me beat him up, and I'll give you another month's internet fee. Chen Guo immediately made a request when he saw that it was one of his official PK cheats. This can be done, should Lao Yi warm up his hands first. You can still earn a month's worth of internet fees. Tang Yin looked at Yi Xiu. Who is this? Chen Guo looked at Tang Yin, but she knew that Tang Yin's social circle was very small, and his life was always on the line. It's her internet cafe and Tang Yin's own home. Apart from occasionally going across to eat dumplings, buying lottery tickets once a year, and donating half of the money to his orphanage, there's nothing else. But judging from Tang Yin's appearance, it seems that he is very familiar with the other party. This surprised Chen Guo a bit. Let me introduce you, Yi Xiu. My 4-year-old netizen happened to meet me at the entrance of an internet cafe today, so I brought him over to play. How about that? Boss. Let him give it a try, Tang Yin asked with a smile. Since it's Xiaoyin's friend, it's my friend. My name is Chen Guo. Welcome to play with me. Then I'll work hard for you in this game. Chen Guo said boldly. Yi Xiu nodded and sat in Chen Guo's seat just now. At this point, the game also entered the countdown. Looking at Yi Xiubai's excessively fair skin, Chen Guo still asked with some concern, Xiao Yin, how is your friend's strength? Did I say he and Yi Xiu have a 5-5-letter relationship with you? Tang Yin said lightly. You're bragging again. Last time you said you and my great god were in a split, Chen Guo said disdainfully. Indeed, he and Yi Xiu are in a 5-5 relationship, and I am in a 5-5 relationship with him. So, shouldn't I just be in a 5-5 relationship with Yi Xiu? Tang Yin had a clear idea. Chen Guo. What kind of gaze are you looking at? Have you never heard of equivalent substitution? Tang Yin looked curious. Are you calling it equivalent substitution? I don't know anything else, but I can be certain that your physical education teacher must be very healthy. Chen Guo covered his face. Chen Guo is still chatting with Tang Yin here, whether it is Tang Yin's good physical fitness or whether his math is a topic taught by the physical education teacher. Yi Xiu's voice came over. I'm done, is that really a month's internet fee? Yi Xiu said. What? So fast, how could it be? It's only been so long. But Chen Guo was completely surprised as he looked at the computer screen. After all, flashing the words honor on the screen is proof of victory. How long has it been since Coco last? Tang Yin, of course, understood the thoughts of Mr. Chen in his heart and said with a suppressed smile, old Yi can't do it. It took him 40 seconds to do this and he's not in the right state. 40 seconds. Chen Guo no longer cared about what Tang Yin said, and all her gaze only focused on the time data on the screen. Standing proudly above the record of 40 seconds, well, it's a bit stiff. Otherwise, 30 seconds would be enough. Yi Xiu's regretful tone once again hurt Chen Guo's fragile heart. Professional player, this is definitely a genuine professional player. At this moment, Chen Guo's brain cells, which he was reluctant to use even in a college entrance examination, began to operate rapidly. It is now the season of glory, and unless he comes to Jiashi to play away, professional players cannot come to their city now. I can first exclude people from other teams, and then only the player from Jiashi who is not far from me is left. I know all the players from Jiashi, but I don't know anyone. Is it Chen Guo took 2 ID cards from Tang Yin's hand? The first one was Tang Yin's, Throw it away if it gets in the way Tang Yin. But when Chen Guo looked at another ID card, the naked words, Yi Xiu, made Chen Guo fall from the peak to the bottom. Today's first chapter requires everyone's support for the new book. Thank you very much. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. The Joy of the European Emperor. You can't feel it, seeking votes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. The Joy of the European Emperor. You can't feel it, seeking votes. How can Chen Guo describe his mood now? Just like when Mucheng ate his stomach before participating in the first martial arts competition in the universe, and finally had to burst out to activate the extreme ease technique, his buttocks suddenly told him that it was about to exhaust. When Mucheng ranked, he found that the qi he had just gathered in the relaxation bar had also been expelled together. The most important thing is that Mucheng also discovered that what he sent out was not gas but fluid. Chen Guo now feels like this, reluctantly returning his ID card to Yi Xiu. Yi Xiu also smiled helplessly as he saw Chen Guo's expression change from excitement to disappointment. He put away his ID card, while his gaze was attracted by the recruitment inspiration on the computer desktop. Tang Yin said, "Old Yi, aren't you unemployed now? Why don't you come here? After all, this is also the closest place to honor." To be honest, Yi Xiu is still a bit excited. After all, Jiashi started from an internet cafe, but when Yi Xiu looked at the job advertisement again, Yi Xiu had an illusion of dreaming back to 10 years ago. Yi Xiu chuckled lightly and then looked at Chen Guo, who still had a salty fish-like expression, and said, "Are you from an internet cafe? Do you still hire internet administrators here?" Upon hearing this, Chen Guo immediately had a mood. "I'm the boss here. Of course, I'm the boss. I'll take care of everything, including food and accommodation. It's 1,500 yuan per month, and an additional 300 yuan for the night shift. But for the night shift. If you don't understand, ask Xiao Yin, he's familiar. You just need to find him." Chen Guo pointed to Tang Yin, who was watching the show next to him. "Hello, Mr. Chen Guo. I only come to help you occasionally. You really treat me like an employee." "You haven't sent me a job yet," Tang Yin protested. "Oh, what you're saying. With him, Xiao Tang doesn't have to work the night shift anymore. If it's a big deal, I'll charge you 3 more months' internet fees," Chen Guo said grandly. Upon hearing Chen Guo say, Tang Yin thought for a moment. Really, if Lao Yi was on duty, then Tang Rou really wouldn't have to work night shifts. Tang Yin, with the mindset that good brothers are meant to be used for cutting knives and pitfalls, resolutely took on this job. "Okay, that's for my 3 months' internet expenses." "I'll take it," Tang Yin said. Upon hearing Chen Guo's words, it immediately piqued Yi Xiu's interest, as he usually travels a bit. Tang Yin made a lot of jokes about him and Su Mucheng, and now their originally pure sibling relationship has clearly changed in another direction in recent years. But now it seems that Tang Yin also has someone he likes, and he still doesn't dare to confess his feelings when he looks proud and coquettish. Yi Xiu. Emotions are worth 3 months of internet fees, right? What kind of expression are you? Get up quickly. I'll try my best to familiarize you with the situation before the server opens in Zone 10. By the way, Chen Guo. Old Yi will stay with me. I remember there's only 1 storage room left on your end, right? Tang Yin said to Chen Guo in the end. Okay, I'll give him a monthly housing subsidy of 400 yuan, Chen Guo agreed. Would it be too much trouble for you? Yi Xiu said to Tang Yin with a hint of embarrassment. It's okay, didn't you see that I also charge rent? From now on, you can pay 400 yuan per month for rent, water and electricity, hee. Tang Yin Xiao said. Thank you. Yi Xiuzhen thought to himself, knowing that this is a prime location in the city, and any shared apartment can cost thousands of yuan per month. And Tang Yin collected 400 yuan. Moreover, Yi Qiu is certain that this 400 yuan is still because he only provides the rental subsidy of 400 yuan. If Chen Guo's subsidy is 300 yuan or something, Yi Xiu estimates that Tang Yin's so-called rent will be even lower. He also knows that Tang Yin has money and doesn't care about it. But this situation was true, and Yi Xiu suddenly felt very lucky. That's right, when there is no support, someone will always extend a hand to him, and fate has it that the owners of both hands love to play with sharpshooters. And they all like to stay in internet cafes. Alright, forget about the ink. I'll take you to see your work first, and then take you to my house. Don't worry, my house is upstairs, there's an elevator behind it, it's very convenient. Tang Yin said as he took Yi Qiu to work. They went first to move the new keyboard and some computer configurations that had not been packed up today to the storage room on the 2nd floor. Following Yi Qiu by Tang Yin's side, they learned Tang Yin's skilled handling skills and carried large and small bags up the 2nd floor together. Pushing open the small door of the storage room, the dark little room appeared in front of Yi Qiu for the first time. After Tang Yin had packed his things, Yi Qiu finally saw that there was still a bed here. If you haven't come to my place, this is your room. You can go directly to the elevator here, and I'll take you to the counter to learn when you get off, Tang Yin joked. Speaking, Tang Yin took the elevator with Yi Xiu to the 5th floor. After opening the door, Tang Yin took a spare key from the shelf next to the door. Handed it to Yi Xiu. Tang Yin's home is still very large. Tang Yin bought this floor and connected it. In the middle is the lobby, with 6 rooms, 1 storage room, 1 computer room, and 2 bathrooms. And there is also 3 balconies outside. There's no way, before we got through, there were 3 properties here. The design was also specifically designed by Tang Yin, with a minimalist beauty. Xiaoyin, your home is really big. Are you not very tired of cleaning on a regular basis, or do you always hire a housekeeper? Yi Xiu asked. Let's have a look at the robotic vacuum cleaner. Tang Yin smiled and explained all the smart facilities at home to Yi Xiu before taking him to his room. You live next door to me, and I don't have much bedding or anything else. Wait and find Mr. Chen to get it, Tang Yin said. Your home is really convenient, isn't it? You even have a massage machine that specializes in esports, Yi Xiu said as he looked at the computer room. That's it, all right. After the tour is over, let's hurry down. We'll be opening the service in the 10th district soon, Tang Yin said. Are you still preparing to practice? Yi Xiu knew Tang Yin's reason for practicing the number, which made him unsure whether to envy or feel helpless. After all, the account that is only 20 points away from the theoretical maximum value of skill points is a treasure in any team, but Tang Yin is very disdainful, saying that from practice to practice. You don't know that, do you? You can't feel the happiness of the European emperor, Tang Yin smiled. After speaking, the two of them started walking towards the internet cafe. Today's second chapter, Era is rolling on the ground for tickets and collecting. The new book requires everyone's care. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Dropout Zone and Weakness Glory, Vote Seeking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Dropout Zone and Weakness Glory, Vote Seeking. Xiaoyin, come on. Since the other party is your 4-year-old netizen, I can't be too stingy either. Today, the boss will treat me to a late-night snack, Xingxin said to Tang Yin and the other two who had just come down. Boss E, can you treat me tomorrow? I just finished dinner here. It's a loss of blood, Tang Yin said gloomily. Who said you have irregular sleep patterns? Just put the delivery guy here, Xingxin chuckled as he instructed the delivery guy to put the food away. Strange, why isn't there any fish? Xingxin searched everywhere where the delivery guy brought it, but couldn't find the fish she ordered. Is there still such a thing? Could it be a missed delivery? Tang Yin said as he approached the order he had brought from the delivery guy. No, I ordered fish-flavored shredded pork, didn't I? What about the fish? Xingxin asked in confusion. Don't tell me, Sister Chen. The fish you ordered is fish-flavored shredded meat, Tang Yin said in a somewhat speechless tone. Well, that's right. Xingxin said. Xinjie, you see, after eating my wife's cake for so many years, I'm still a single dog, Tang Yin said helplessly. Boss's surname is Chen. Yi Xiu said as he took over the night snack. My name is Xingxin, and I just checked your ID card. Don't worry, I'm older than you. You can call me sister and you're not at a disadvantage, but Xiaoyin is only 20 years old this year, so he's the youngest. Xingxin explained as he pulled on the fish-flavored shredded meat, obviously still feeling frustrated about why there were no fish. Tang Yin didn't pile up there, after all, he had just eaten it and can't eat it now. As for instant noodles, it's different when to go and get them. And obviously, Tang Yin is not the only one with this idea. Yi Xiu sat down next to Tang Yin and asked curiously, Xiaoyin, you are so enthusiastic today. I don't think you have this level of enthusiasm in your daily life, do you? Well, the nature is different, Tang Yin said, after all, this is to create a character that he plays professionally. Oh, is that so? Yi Xiu replied thoughtfully. Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's finish the task together, okay? Tang Yin invited. Okay, I also want to rely on you to gather all the equipment, Yi Xiu smiled. If you can be with Tang Yin, then you don't have to worry about equipment. Tang Yin logged into the account with some excitement and first established the character. He directly used his own selfie to generate his face, and then made some minor changes. It's impossible for Yan Gao to be so confident. As for the name, it still needs to have a bit of momentum. And Tang Yin remembered a sentence in his heart. There is a fish in the North Sea, named Kuan. Kuan is so vast that I don't know how far it can travel, transformed into a bird, its name is Peng. The back of a Peng is unknown for thousands of miles, angry and flying, its wings drooping like clouds in the sky. Thinking about it, it seems like it's hungry again. I have a name. Tang Yin entered the name he had just thought of and pressed the enter key. System. Name created successfully. Character. Xiao Yu has been successfully created. After finishing the character, the people here also started counting down. Chen Guo couldn't help but exclaim, "This is the charm of glory." But in contrast to Chen Guo, Tang Yin had a bad idea and saw him shouting, 10, 9, 12, 11, 10. Tang Yin forcibly led the people around him astray, and the people around him also affected the entire internet cafe, which felt very good. Moreover, Tang Yin quieted down quickly and was not noticed by anyone. But Chen Guo beside him saw this guy causing trouble and punched Tang Yin in the head, asking casually, "Xiao Yin, what's your name this time? Do you still call it Dream Awakening time?" "Of course not, as an absolute European emperor, how can I have the same name? My ID this time is Xiao Yu." "It's not bad," Tang Yin said. After all, although the name Xiao is old, its meaning is good. Chen Guo thought that Tang Yin's playing style was indeed quite elegant and appropriate. Then he looked at Yi Xiu and said, "And you?" "Don't laugh, June," Yi Xiu said, "don't laugh, you're on a carefree trip." "It's great, it sounds like friends." "You guys are quite good at naming," Chen Guoxiao said. "This name was not given by me, it was given by Mucheng," Yi Xiu smiled. "Do you dare to blow up the cow a little more?" Chen Guo said in silence. "Boss, I'll tell you a secret," Yi Xiu said mysteriously. "Mysterious secret?" Tang Guo asked curiously. "I am Yi Xiu," Yi Xiu said seriously. Tang Yin can clearly see the black line on Chen Guo's head at this moment. "Then I'll tell you a secret too," Chen Guo pretended to be mysterious and said. Yi Xiu looked at Chen Guo. "Actually, I am Su Mucheng," Chen Guo said solemnly. It's Yi Xiu's turn to have black lines on his head this time. Ha 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 ha. I'm laughing to death, ha ha ha. Tang Yin beside him couldn't help but feel a little overwhelmed. Sorry. I haven't undergone any professional training. Ha ha ha, I can't help it. Ha ha ha. Tang Yin smiled happily. His mind is now filled with the shocked expression on Chen Guo's face when he learned about Yi Xiu's situation. Xiao Yin, I feel like you're laughing at me. But I don't have any evidence, Chen Guo said as the black line on Tang Yin's head grew stronger. Okay, stop laughing. Old Yi, let's go brush the task, Tang Yin said. Well, good. Yi Xiu didn't have much to do with Tang Yin and entered the game. At the beginning of the results, the two experienced the ups and downs of leading tasks. After all, the popularity of honor is here. Every time a new area is opened, that person calls it more than one. You should know that in the history of honor, even when the second district was opened, a large number of people entered at once, causing a group of people to squeeze together and unable to move, and there was also a phenomenon of a group of people dropping off. There are even disconnections caused by server issues while making replicas. In addition, there is a week period of punishment for the failure of Honor's dungeons, and a few days later, Honor's second zone was referred to by netizens as the disconnected zone and weak Honor. Fortunately, not long after the official approval, they added servers and temporarily added several novice villages to Honor during the new zone opening to divert the crowd. The tragedy of the disconnected zone and the virtual fall of Honor finally did not repeat itself. With so many experiences in the 10th district, preparation was even more abundant. After completing the beginner task, Tang Yin and Yi Xiu went to the storage box in the warehouse. He opened the box and found 2 shining left wheels lying inside. The magazines on the left wheels flickered with dazzling light, and both left wheels had shiny silver gun bodies. And they also have golden patterns like vines wrapping around them. At that time, the trajectory of the left wheel movement would also bring out remnants of silver with some golden dots. Just like a piece of art. This is Tang Yin's self-made silver weapon. Illusory God Double Spear. This was originally designed by Era for Blue's silver gun after awakening, but it's not needed anymore. Let's continue here. The last chapter of today. Erha, please recommend tickets and collect them. The new book requires everyone's care. Era, thank you, end of this chapter. Chapter 7. Tacit Understanding, Requesting Votes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Tacit Understanding, Requesting Votes. As Tang Yin moved the mouse over the weapon, the message of Huanshan's dual guns also appeared. Fantasy God Double Spears, Level 5. Fantasy God Double Spears. Blue Silver, Level 5 weight of 1.5 kilograms, attack speed of 9 physical attack 170, spell attack 190 no attributes currently available Fantasy God Double Spears. Haotian, Level 5 weight 1.4 kilograms, attack speed 9 physical attack 180, spell attack 195 This is Tang Yin's self-made silver dance, although this silver weapon has not yet been able to add such attributes. But as far as the panel is concerned, the attack power is already at the top level of silver weapons. And there will also be some special effects after being advanced. As far as the panel is concerned, both guns have certain attribute deviations. This is also to better match the skills embedded in the future. After all, although the sharpshooter is a physical attack profession, there are other skills that require spell attacks when transitioning. For example, mechanics and ammunition experts. Moreover, Zhou's attack speed is slightly higher than that of ordinary revolver firearms, which is crucial for sharpshooters who rely mainly on gorgeous skills and shooting techniques as their main combat methods. As the saying goes, homemade weapons may not necessarily be the strongest, but the strongest weapon must be homemade. So Tang Yin is still very satisfied with his work. And the characters of Tang Yin and Yi Xiu, even if they haven't started playing dungeons yet. They both have 2 purple weapons that suit them, which is still because novice tasks did not involve playing dungeons. The ones they wear now are the most suitable for them. Tang Yin's shoes and clothes are purple martial arts, and Yi Xiu's clothes and belt. The rest are all blue weapons, and it can be said that their current equipment is already the best at the moment. Perfect interpretation. What is the European Emperor? Being possessed by someone is because they can only possess this set. And here in Emperor Tang Yin, it is because the current level of wild monsters can only expose these. Of course, there are also some players. Don't misunderstand, Tang Yin, who has the attribute of being a European emperor, naturally disdains to rob others. But it was all because of others who saw the color and wanted to rob Tang Yin and the others when they saw Tang Yin explode their purple martial arts. Then, under the top-level operations of Tang Yin and Yi Xiu, the 2 of them reluctantly accepted all the things of the newcomer. That's right, it's all about it. Because in the game, being killed has a certain chance of dropping equipment or items from the backpack. However, under the judgment of Tang Yin's European aura, anyone who comes to Tang Yin's place to cause trouble will drop equipment and items to the maximum value that can be dropped. The current roles of Jun Mo Xiao and Xiaoyao Yu can be said to be rich and excessive, so this time they came back not only for the silver weapon, but also to save some things for sale when they have time in the future. Because Tang Yin had spent some time conceptualizing the task sequence before, coupled with the best preparation, they became the first 2 teams to come to the dungeon. Old Yi, which one do you have a need for? Tang Yin asked. Well, Green's Forest, I have some needs for the night cat demon. What about you, Little Silver? Yi Xiu looked at Little Silver. I'm not in a hurry, what I need is to go to Spider Cave and the ruins of Poisonous Thunder at level 10, Tang Yin said. Spider Cave. Coincidentally, the materials below are also going there to get spider silk or something, and you? Yi Xiu asked. We don't have any conflict, what I need is the Spider King's venomous sac and the Spider Lord's spider legs, Tang Yin smiled. This wave of luck is good, there are not enough materials needed, otherwise advanced materials will be fine, after all, the quantity will not be too large. Anyway, having Tang Yin's European Emperor attribute can easily be created, but for them now, it is more troublesome to have a large amount of ordinary materials. Let's go play a game at Green's Forest first, and when there are more people waiting, we can form a passerby team. Having team experience can also increase the efficiency of leveling up. Tang Yin said, Honor has imitated some settings of Dungeons and Warriors, so Era added the setting of DNF having team experience in the past. It's been too long since Era played, the two of them decided to wait for the leveling strategy and then entered the dungeon. Green's Forest is a beginner dungeon with a maximum limit of 5 players. Level 5 admission is invalid for scores above level 10. In other words, if you reach level 10, your various pass records will not be recorded in the system. Due to the occurrence of such incidents in the past, beginners are now randomly distributed, so although many players call on friends to explore together, most of them cannot gather together for a while. Usually, depending on the situation, everyone randomly gathers 5 people to form a wild team. And Tang Yin and Yi Xiuxiang have strong abilities, and every teammate is the same. Single brushing can also easily pass the level, so if you don't want the best experience bonus when the team is full first, they don't need to join, just push them evenly together. Entering the Forest of Green, Tang Yin and the others arrived at a slightly gloomy forest. And as soon as they appeared, there were a few green goblins in front holding things like wolf fangs. It seems to be on patrol. The two of them didn't even have the correct level 5 consciousness and rushed over directly. As Jun Mo laughed and ran, he threw his 1000-machine umbrella in his hand and became a spear. A celestial strike flew the 2 goblins that were coming towards them, and then a spear pierced through them. Long Ye used his power to hover the just flying goblin. And Tang Yin is also not idle here, because he is a ranged profession, and his attacks are even before Yi Xiu. 2 self-destructing robots were placed on the ground, and as soon as the machines appeared, they happily walked towards the goblin group. As soon as Tang Yin's Huanshan twin guns were thrown out, 2 floating bullets were the first to fly 2 of them. Then, Tang Yin's floating shovel slid to the landing point of those 2 goblins, knocking them off again while casually carrying an extra head. At this moment, the self-destructing robot finally arrived by Tang Yin's side, and his initial goal was the second of the 3 goblins in the sky. 2 explosions, accompanied by a perfect falling flower palm strike from Yi Xiulong's teeth. Along with 2 goblins near Yi Xiu. All 7 goblins that have appeared so far gathered together in an instant. At this moment, Tang Yin and Yi Xiu simultaneously took out a gatling and aimed it at the goblins that had gathered between them, giving them a burst of output. Clear the scene directly. This is the tacit understanding that the two of them have cultivated in recent years, knowing each other's intentions without unnecessary communication. And then, with a very smooth and perfect match. Era suddenly felt that if the female lead were Yi Xiu, it wouldn't be bad. Even Mucheng couldn't help but marvel at the tacit understanding between these 2 guys more than once. Today's first watch, Ha is rolling all over the ground, begging for tickets. The new book requires everyone's support and encouragement. Ha, I would like to add that it is currently 3 shifts a day. If the recommended ticket exceeds 102, I will add 1 more shift. Every time it breaks 100 plus 1, the reputation of Era's old book friends understand that Era has never owed a change. So don't stop recommending tickets, everyone. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Tauren, Request for Tickets. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 8 Tauren, Request for Tickets. Under the passive influence of the Tang's silver-level Empress, these goblins exploded with many potions and a blue weapon. After all, they are just small soldiers, and the elite monsters in the dungeon have a chance to unleash purple weapons and boss orange weapons. Of course, the chances of these are all below 0% or even less. So in the early stages of Game 2, it is almost impossible to have orange warriors. That's also why when Tang Yin was in the 6th district, it was clearly a new area and in the early stages of easy level upgrades. In the case of high equipment turnover, one can still make a fortune by selling low-level orange weapons. The reason is none other than the record. In the world of glory, each team will have their own guild. These guilds ensure that members of the team manufacture materials for weapons and equipment, while also strengthening their fan base. And every time the new areas are staggered, a large number of cute new players flock to this game, and for those teams, it is extremely important to develop them into their own fans. This is also when every new district, each guild will send people to create guilds and absorb fresh blood. But the question is, why did Mucheng, who doesn't know much about honor, choose you among so many guilds? Then you need to increase the visibility of your guild, and dungeon records and boss first kill are the best promotions. Because in honor, every boss's first kill and breaking the clearance record will be reported throughout the network. Players refer to this joke as being on TV. How to improve one's success rate when everyone's skills are similar. The equipment that is stronger than others is the most direct way, and with demand, there is a market. At that time, Tang Yin's several orange weapons were auctioned off by several guilds together. Finally, he was defeated by the champion at that time against Blue Rain. When Tang Yin was making a lot of money, Lan Yu didn't lose either. The 6th district has become the area with the most personnel transported to the Blue Creek Pavilion of the Blue Rain Squad Guild in the Divine Realm. Of course, Tang Yin has done this kind of equipment auction more than once. Although other guilds have also auctioned it off, the one that bought the most was still the Blue Creek Pavilion. After all, they were the first to reap the benefits, making their initial funds stronger than other guilds. Tang Yin and the others continued their advance and arrived at a rudimentary fortress made of wood. This is not far from the boss of Greenwood Forest, and the boss is located in the huge bookstore behind this fortress. And here, besides the ordinary goblin with the wolf tooth stick, there is also the throwing goblin with only a stone basket on his back. A goblin that can be used for remote attacks. There is also a timid goblin with a white beard. The timid goblin setting is very interesting, as his health is directly proportional to the total number of goblins in stock on the field. The more goblins there are, the thicker his blood bars become. But with Goblin's death, his health will also decrease. In the end, only he will have his health bar become particularly short. Even if he uses the most ordinary weapon to strike twice, he will die, and these 2 attacks cannot produce critical strikes. Perfect embodiment, people. Oh, no wonder I fly away with waves, no wonder I'm a little hesitant. And this fortress has about 20 ordinary goblins, 7 throwing goblins, and 3 timid goblins. Tang Yin and Yi Xiu didn't need to communicate, and Yi Xiu took the lead in charging towards the goblin group, with skills and regular attacks interspersed and dancing. Not long after, it attracted a pile of hatred from goblins, and goblins who wanted to launch a surprise attack from afar, as well as timid goblins who were running towards us again. In addition, some scattered goblins scattered around the camp were hit by Tang Yin's bullets one after another. Under the suppression of Tang Yin's firepower, the stone-throwing goblin didn't even have a chance to throw stones. The 2 directly attracted the hatred of all goblins, and after attracting each other, they relied on sliding, flying guns, and Z-shaking techniques to navigate through the monster pile. The monsters scattered in front were once again gathered together by them. Then comes the blatant skill bombing, even though they are only at level 5 and don't know many skills. But relying on their understanding of skills, the 2 people's skills alternate with each other. This massacre killed Mucheng several times, and they attacked the Goblin Fortress, which was troublesome for various guilds to deal with. After finishing dealing with the enemies here, the two of them picked up their belongings and headed towards the final boss. The boss of Green's Forest is not Goblin, but a huge bull-headed monster. But Tang Yin felt that this place was poisonous because the final boss location of Green Forest was called King Goblin's Dormitory, but what came out was a bullhead monster. What kind of bull-headed monster are you? I think you're the old cow next door. I don't think your race should be a Tauren, but clearly a Tauren. Tang Yin has felt more than once that honor. Are you not afraid of baldness when driving like this? Have you seen the speed and passion in vain? They all use a whole 6 parts to tell you the truth that driving too fast can lead to baldness, but you guys still don't listen to these plans. So Tang Yin has always used the cruelest methods to flaunt bosses that corrupt the gaming environment. What? What method are you talking about? Well, what do you say? I don't know if each elementary school has ever played Xiaoming and Xiaohong throwing balls at each other. Then the dog chased the ball in the middle. The current situation is to turn the ball into a threat value and the puppy into a bull-headed monster. So now the bullhead monster is like a silly one running back and forth between Xiaoyao and Junmo Xiao, repeatedly jumping horizontally. Finally, we will ascend to the extreme. Xiaoyin, are you too cruel? After all, he is also a boss. You are too inhumane, Chen Guo said, feeling the faint sadness of the bullhead monster across the screen. Do you have it? Look at it. I'm also trying to maximize profits. Tang Yin smiled as she picked up materials and equipment from the ground. This time, a level 10 orange martial giant sword exploded. Wait and go out for an auction. Bullhead giant sword level 10, weight 2.5 kilograms, attack speed 2. Physical attack 180, spell attack 90. There is a 3% chance of a oscillation effect occurring. The weapon settings in honor are stepped. For example, the most ordinary white weapon at level 10, i.e. the whiteboard weapon, the most ordinary weapon, can be compared to the blue weapon at level 5. The blue weapon at level 10 can be comparable to the purple weapon at level 5. Only level 10 purple martial arts can barely rival level 5 orange martial arts. Only a level 10 orange weapon can barely compete with a level 5 silver weapon. If Era remembers correctly. In the original work, the Xingxin team initially used an orange weapon that was one level higher than the opponents to barely pull back the disadvantage of insufficient silver weapons. At this moment, the World Channel also started flashing. Congratulations to players, Xiaoyao. Jun Mo Xiao has completed the first kill of the bullhead monster. This information instantly caught the attention of the entire server. I didn't expect someone to complete the first boss kill of Green Forest so early. Xiaoyayu and Junmo became hot topics with just a smile. And now is the best time to sell the bullhead giant sword. Olji, let's sell weapons. Let's see if we can exchange some of the materials we need. It would be too tiring to rely solely on us to fight, Tang Yin said. He decided to let them have a more diverse way of obtaining materials, and relying solely on brushing dungeons would result in poor returns. Upon hearing Tang Yin's words, Yi Xiu repeatedly heard game prompts. Your friends and scrupulous merchant Silver has been launched. In today's second chapter, Era is rolling on the ground seeking recommendation tickets and collections. The new book requires everyone's help. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Auction, request for votes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Auction, request for votes. As soon as Tang Yin released the dungeon, he arrived at the inevitable path of Novice Village and Green Forest. Kongji City. This is one of the legitimate main cities on the Glory Continent. It is also the first main city that players will encounter after upgrading all the way, and the first gathering place for middle and low-level players. It is also the first trading city. Most players have just come out of the Novice Village or have finished playing bosses. Everyone will come here for supplies. Some major guilds have people staying here for a long time. If someone sells any good equipment, they can also know it as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Tang Yin and Yi Xiu separated first, and Yi Xiu continued to brush dungeons, while Tang Yin began his own auction life. First, drag the bullhead giant sword to the exchange box, and the dialogue box will automatically display information about the weapon. Tang Yin sent the weapon information on the world channel, along with his location to be auctioned off, and the one with the higher price will be willing to receive it. In just 5 minutes, Tang Yin's carefree tour was surrounded by a group of people. Along with it came a bunch of friend applications, which Tang Yin of course agreed to. After all, they were all future wool, how could they only collect them once? For the convenience of communication, Tang Yin specially built a team of 20 members as the main team. Let each of the major guilds send one person to join the team, and then everyone will auction in the team channel. In fact, if only gold coins are needed, Tang Yin can be directly thrown to the auction house in the system. But now Tang Yin mainly needs materials. Old Yi. What materials do you need on your end? Let's gather all the low-level materials first. I'll add the high-level materials according to the situation. After all, we need to level up a few more times, and it's about time to use a few rare materials. Tang Yin asked Yi Xiu beside him. Well, could you help me collect the spider silk first, as well as the eyes and claws of the night cat demon? And the sharp teeth of the white wolf are also acceptable, Yi Xiu said. Although no one has hit these monsters yet, you can still owe them for now. Several major guilds dare not default for the sake of their image. So Yi Xiu also discovered. Oh. Tang Yin had already figured it out in his heart. Returning to the internal channel here, people from various guilds are still throwing garbage at each other. At this moment, Tang Yin said, "Friends, please be quiet. If you meet anyone, they will be friends. Let me first talk about the price. 1,000 gold coins. Asterisk 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 asterisk." Finally, he added an expression. 1,000 gold coins, brother, are you here to rob? The level 30 purple weapon is only around 800 gold coins, said the representative of the reincarnation team at this moment. Brother, your price is indeed a bit high. Yeah, Xiaoyao brothers. Look, we're all just starting this game, and even we don't have that much money. As soon as Tang Yin's price was announced, they couldn't sit still. One by one, they raised their heads and said. But Tang Yin was not at all flustered. Of course, he knew that even the guilds established by various teams were now very short of money. But his goal was not originally here. Selling high and selling low is the foundation of negotiations. Without raising the price, how can they have room to negotiate? Although Tang Yin did not have a background in negotiation, the more singular the needs of one side. He still knows that the other side has higher appreciation potential. Next, a group of people debated about the price for 5 minutes. Finally, when the price reached 500 gold coins, Tang Yin finished speaking. Tang Yin is not in a hurry, he is an auction. It's not selling directly. I don't know where the price will go when the auction starts. What is currently being discussed is only a starting price. Everyone, you can figure it out. This is currently the first orange weapon in the entire region. One of my friends from Lanxi Pavilion knows the benefits best. So the starting price is good, Tang Yin said. At this moment, everyone realized that they had been arguing for a while and had forgotten that this guy was going to be auctioned off. That, brother. But 500 gold coins are also a bit too much. We can't get out so much at once. And our guild also needs you to run. At this moment, a person with the ID of Lantern Blossom Knight in Lanxi Pavilion said. Then I'll refund half more. If it's not enough, I can use gold coins instead of materials. Tang Yin then threw out a list of rare materials that Yi Xiu and he needed. And the number of gold coins corresponding to each material is also indicated by Tang Yin. When they were chattering before, Tang Yin was just doing this. They are a bit confused about these things. They can think of using materials instead of gold coins, and the prices can be precisely nailed to the highest point in the new area, indicating that this carefree player is not a beginner. But what he wants is some relatively moderate materials in the city, and you should know that these materials depreciate very quickly. This operation really makes them a bit confused. You can still owe me what you don't have first, and then pay me back. Now people from various guilds are here, and Tang Yin is not afraid that the guild will not give money after the transaction. After all, the reputation of the guild is very important to their team's guilds, and if they evade tickets. As soon as Tang Yin releases this record, they may lose a large number of fans. Adding other guilds will naturally not miss this opportunity to trample on opponents. So Tang Yin was reassured. With this condition that can be owed, everyone's payment pressure has significantly decreased. Dare to bid even more boldly. Finally, just like Tang Yin's budget, the final auction price easily broke through 1,000 gold coins and was auctioned by Lanshi Pavilion at a total value of about 1,500 gold coins. This can also be understood. Tang Yin remembers that the president of the Blue Creek Pavilion this time was a swordsman, and also the main force in brushing records. If he uses this weapon, he can maximize the chance of brushing it out. And subjectively speaking, Tang Yin is able to be the future nanny of his guild, the Blue River Little Nanny, oh no angel. He is simply a little angel like Xiao Yifan. Well, before everyone even met, he presented a wave of materials for himself and Yi Qiu. This time, Tang Yin received a deposit of 500 gold coins from Lanshi Pavilion and traded the bullhead giant sword to Lanshi Pavilion. They will gather the remaining materials worth 1,000 gold coins for him within a week. Finally, everyone added a friend to each other. After all, Tang Yin's carefree travel and Yi Xiu's Jun Mo Xiao have both appeared on TV. Two people can win the first kill of the Green Forest boss, and it's not surprising to know that they are experts. For such wild experts, they all maintain a positive and enthusiastic attitude towards recruitment. The Blue Creek Pavilion will bring so many benefits, and there is also hope to win over Tang Yin. What they didn't know was that Tang Yin was also thinking about how to dig their corner, and he was still a guild president like Blue River. How did that say? As long as the hoe is swung well, there is no corner that cannot be dug down. And when Tang Yin and Lan Shigu finished trading, the world channel flashed. Zone 10, Night Cat Demon first kill. Jun Mo Xiao. Oh, it seems that Xia Yuyu has made her debut. In the last chapter of today, let's take a look at the hard work of Era and cast more recommended votes. The new book requires everyone's support and care. Finally, let's just say that during this period, for every 100 recommended votes, a new chapter will be added for Era. Don't pity Era, use the recommended votes to your heart's content. Good night. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Non-Emirate SSR, Ticket Request. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Non-Emirate SSR, Ticket Request, oh. It seems that our little moon has made an appearance, Tang Yin thought to herself as she watched the announcement on the World Channel. Compared to Tang Yin's plain expression, Chen Guo, who woke up just to see this scene due to poor sleep quality, was completely different. Damn it. Chen Guo slapped Yi Xiu on the shoulder with his backhand and said, "Sure, young man. There's something there. I took the first kill so quickly." Chen Guo said excitedly. After all, she herself has never taken the first kill, even though she considers herself one of the top players in Glory. In Honor, there is a general criterion for judging a player's strength, which is hand speed, which refers to the operations performed on a character within a certain period of time. In Honor, this time is usually within 1 minute, abbreviated as APM. After all, Honor is not just a simple strategy or real-time combat game. Although players only control one unit, the skills of each character are very complex, requiring high precision in player action operations. This also leads to a great demand for player speed and precision control in Honor. Taking Tang Yin as an example, his current highest effective hand speed is a PK with Yi Xiu, with a hand speed of 820 APM. This means that he can play against Yi Xiu in a 5-to-5 split game with weak experience and consciousness, each with a winner. After all, in the setting of Honor, faster hand speed can bring faster skill combos, while effective hand speed ensures both hand speed and operational precision. After all, in Honor, the force and time of each button you press will most intuitively affect the amplitude of your character's movements in the game. It is precisely because of this that operational techniques such as Z.jitter have emerged. The design of Honor not only allows the characters in the game to be more diverse in battles, but also increases their playability and sense of operation. Of course, as the saying goes, setting aside profits, talking about hand speed is all about playing hooligans. After all, there are some people in the game who just keep operating to make their APM look better or to show off better. Although some extra operations will be counted in the APM, they are of no use. Therefore, what is truly powerful is effective hand speed, and those who can achieve this are all top players at the professional level. And it is unparalleled that someone like Tang Yin can achieve an effective hand speed of over 800. It should be noted that although Yi Xiu's hand speed reached over 900 APM while playing the piano, his peak speed in the game was only over 700 or 800. But although there are ineffective hand speeds still have high reference value, such as the APM 200, which is now a recognized dividing line in the Honor professional circle. For example, some ordinary players who reach an APM above 200 are basically just playing around. You should know that some professional players are around 200. What does Yu Wenzhou look at? Saying it's you. Note: a hand speed of over 200 is at the entry level among professional players, which is still quite high compared to ordinary players. Honor Official has conducted a big data analysis. For ordinary players, about 70% of them have a hand speed in the range of 80 to 120, 25% are disabled players who cannot even reach 80, and another 5% are players who can exceed 120 and continuously challenge 200. These people are all experts among ordinary players, and it is said that there are also some who can reach the professional level of 200. And most people like this are high-ranking officials from various club guilds. And our boss, Chen Guo, has an effective hand speed of around 120 and repeatedly jumps horizontally, most of the time below 120. However, due to occasionally being able to hang a fraction of 120, Chen Guo firmly believes that he belongs to that 5% and is a master among players. She was like this, but she never received a single first kill. Now that she found another first kill appearing next to her, how could she not be excited? As for why, because the previous one was Tang Yin. Although Tang Yinji was not very good at that time. But luckily, although it was the first game to play, I still entered the game relatively late. But that night, he still got a hidden boss first kill for him. And now there is another one in front of me. It's nothing, it's already the second one, Yi Xiu said lightly. What? When did she get the first one? Chen Guo immediately sat up, and Tang Yin's coat slipped off her shoulder. The first one is with us, and there's no need to thank you, Tang Yin said as he saw Chen Guo wake up and see the coat he was wearing on her body. Because Yi Xiu was scrolling through dungeons at the time, while the presidents on Tang Yin's side were bidding. Causing Tang Yin to be idle, he happened to see Chen Guo lying asleep on the table and draped his coat over her. Thank you. I'll bring you a breakfast tomorrow, Chen Guo said confidently after thanking him. Boss, why don't you go rest first? You don't have the habit of staying up late. After watching the excitement, you should rest early. I'll help you keep an eye on Lao Yi, Tang Yin smiled. That's great. You two perverts, why are your skills so good? Especially you. Yi Xiu played for 10 years and that's all. Why are you so good even though you played later than me? Chen Guo complained. This is talent, you can't envy it, Tang Yin smiled. Speaking of talent, Xiao Tang also has a great talent for glory. When will you try to persuade her? Chen Guo said. Well, it depends. Tang Yin smiled mysteriously, as he had planned to pull Tang Rou into the pit in advance. But unfortunately, every time he and Tang Rou PK don't really get involved. In the end, all the good PK turned into chatting. Let's go, good night. Chen Guo and the two of them waved their hands. Good night X2. After Chen Guo left, Tang Yin looked at Yi Xiu and said, what's going on? Yi Xiu opened his backpack and said, there are 5 cat nails, 1 cat skin breastplate, 2 dark night cat nails, 1 dark night cat paw, 1 dark night cat eye stone, hidden boss materials, and a skill book. I'm just trying to be strong. It's not bad to have a skill book, Yi Xiu said. How can I describe your luck? Draw the card and draw the SSR. But the SSR looks like an African chieftain. Tang Yin thought strangely. Of course, this is for Tang Yin, because skill books are not meant to learn skills, but to increase skill points for players. Its value can be imagined by the words in the same color as orange martial arts. It should be noted that in official settings, the skill point for a character after reaching a full level is 4,000. If you want to continue improving your skill points in the future, this gameplay is one of the ways. But this thing is not tradable, so you can't receive the money, you can only rely on your own luck. But this thing also has its limits, you can't use it again after 6000. And the final way is to send skill points to the task. But Tang Yin was originally expected to have a maximum skill point of 7,000, but due to missing a task, he permanently stopped at the number 6,980, which made him suffer from OCD. This also leads to his boss getting annoyed when he sees the skill book, after all, he can't use it himself. This thing can't be traded yet. It's annoying, Yi Xiu said, since he is a bit speechless at this moment, after all, he witnessed it with Su Mucheng. Tang Yin threw 1 orange skill book after another to the NPC at a system set price of 1 copper coin. Today's first chapter, everyone should also be full of energy today. Finally, I would like to ask for a ticket again, as the new Book of Era requires your great support and care. End of this chapter.